After my nephew's first communion, we went to celebrate at this cute East Dallas restaurant. It had this boho Mary's West Texas charm. So they had this huge outdoor patio. They had a fire pit, picnic tables, and they had these large pergolas. There was another family celebrating their daughter's communion with us as well. So we sat outside watching the kids climb the oak trees as we waited for our food. Beautiful spring night with just great conversation all around. Then our food starts arriving, and I watched my sister get up because the waiter had forgotten our silverware. So she went and got it herself. She came back, sat down. More food arrived. But then she noticed the grandmother at the other end of the table still didn't have her dinner. So she got up again, went to find the waiter, checked on the order, and made sure it was coming. And by the time she sat back down, her food was cold. Everybody else had already started eating. Even I had picked up my fork and put it back down to wait for her. And the thing that I can't stop thinking about is how nobody noticed, because she did it so naturally and automatically, like she was just the host of the place, that it just looked normal. And, she's the one who notices what's missing, the one who always eats last, but she smiles and says she doesn't mind. And honestly, she probably believes that in the moment, but I mind it for her. Because I've seen my mom do the same thing. I know what happens over time when a woman lives like that for too long. And I think some of you have been doing it for so long, you don't even realize your food keeps getting cold anymore. Her attentiveness is beautiful. The way she notices people, the way she feels responsible for the emotional temperature of the room, the way she sees needs before people even say them out loud. It's such a beautiful gift. And yes, my mom had the same gift, but a gift that only flows one direction eventually starts costing the giver everything. And the dangerous part is nothing looks wrong at first because she's still functioning, she's showing up, and she's serving people around her. She's just getting flatter than she used to be, where there's less joy and capacity coming from her. And the warmth is still there, but it just costs her more now. And that's the part people miss, because when you've been disconnected from yourself long enough, your body stops sending loud signals. It just slowly quiets your hunger, whether that's physical or emotional. The hunger to be noticed the way you notice everyone else. And eventually, you just stop expecting it and become self-reliant. And I want to name something that does not get talked about enough, is the resentment. Not what you'd think, the burnout or the exhaustion, but that quiet resentment that flashes for just half a second towards the people you love. And, you catch it, come back, and, everyone's eating at the table. There's this tiny moment where you wish, this little tightening in your chest where you wish they waited for you, but you catch it, because you love these people. So don't just feel the resentment at this point. It's also feeling guilty for feeling resentful. Then pushing it back down, giving more, smiling harder, trying to just get back to the warmth that used to come naturally. And the hard thing is that nobody noticed, because women like this trained everyone around them not to. They made overfunctioning look normal, made self-abandonment look effortless. They wouldn't call it that. And underneath all of this, there's usually a belief that this woman didn't choose consciously, but one she absorbed through praise or family dynamics. So a quick story: growing up, although I was the oldest, my mom would give instructions to my sister when my mom would leave the house, because my sister was more dependable. I was too busy hiding behind the couch, just lost in books. So my sister grew up being called mature and dependable. And even now people think she's older than me. So that belief that stems from that maturity becomes my needs matter less, or if I focus on myself, I'm selfish. And person who's nurturing like that, they will do almost anything not to be selfish. So every time she'll try to set a boundary or try to rest, or honestly try to choose herself, it doesn't feel empowering, it feels wrong. So that's why just say no doesn't really work for her, because saying yes used to bring her purpose. She would step into the gaps before anyone else had even registered there was a gap. And that was fulfilling. And for a long time, it felt like joy. And then something happened. She was the one who needed someone to step into the gap for her. Maybe she was going through something hard, or she was exhausted in a way she could not hide anymore. And she looks around, and everyone is so focused on keeping their own plate warm. Nobody had taught them to feel the gap the way she feels it. And that is the moment that surprises her the most, the realization that the way she loves people sacrificially is not how most people know how to love. They're not conscious of that. And it's this sudden, profound loneliness of looking around in a moment of crisis and seeing that nobody's watching. And it's because they never learned how to look. She'd been giving everyone something they did not even know how to give back. That realization, while sad, is actually the beginning of her freedom, because it allows her to stop expecting water from a dry well and instead depend on the source of living water, Jesus, the only well that never runs dry. Something my spiritual mother once told me stuck with me. She said, trust God, love others, not the other way around, because people are human and will disappoint you. So true change for this woman won't come from just saying no to others, but from learning to say yes to her own needs, her own gaps, and her own capacity without needing a crisis to justify it. And I think sometimes we even wrap this in spirituality, and a lot of women in faith spaces especially learned this indirectly. There's this cute Christian acronym. The way to joy is JOY, Jesus, others, you. And I understand the heart behind it, but I think some women heard that and translated it into, you come last. Your needs do not matter. So now she feels guilty for resting, or for having needs, or for wanting care, just like the care she provides to everyone else. But I don't think God was asking women to become less human in order to, be obedient. Jesus served people deeply, but he also rested. He withdrew. He set boundaries. He received care. He felt grief. He felt anger. He asked for support. He never erased himself. So, we call disappearing serving sometimes, or burnout can look like obedience, but that's not what God wants. You are the daughter of a king, so we need to act accordingly to that, right? So how do you do that? By embracing your identity as loved and chosen by God. This identity empowers you to love others through healthy, God-honoring boundaries. Another one is the power of I'll get back to you. This is a game changer because it acts as a buffer from an automatic yes, and it gives you space to check in with your own capacity, your own energy and desires before you commit. A third one, allowing people to help you. Usually people who are helpers have trouble being helped. So learning that letting someone help is not a weakness. Think of it this way. You may be blocking someone's blessing by not allowing them to help. Does that make sense? And maybe it starts with eating your food while it's still warm, because these tiny moments, they are the ones that will be retraining your nervous system to believe I matter too. And if she's a mother, her daughters, her sons are learning this in real time. They are watching what a woman does with her needs, whether she's allowed to have them, whether rest is available to her or just to the ones she loves, whether love means disappearing. So I keep thinking about my sister at that table, her food being cold, and her smiling and saying she didn't mind. And again, maybe in that moment, she really didn't. But I also know what happens when moments like that become an identity. I know what happens when a woman spends 20 years slowly teaching herself she comes last. So if this is you, this is your reminder. You were never supposed to disappear in order to love people well. You matter. Your needs matter. Your presence in your own life matters. And maybe today, instead of waiting for someone else to notice, you notice yourself first. So if this episode felt like home to you, take the Rhythm Type quiz. It will be in the description. It's free. It will show you exactly how you're wired and where your return path coming back home to yourself begins. I'm Leah, and I make these videos to remind you that you are not behind, because God already built a unique rhythm for your life. Stay on beat. Bye.